Great. Hello everybody, it's System Chalk with episode 4 in our Apostle Obsonate playthrough. As before, if you'd like to get notifications for this, feel free to subscribe to the channel, and you can use the notification bell just to the right of the subscription button. And if you like this, feel free to put down a like. If you dislike it, put a dislike, and feel free to let me know either what I can do better or what you like about the series. So in this, the last episode, we wound up with the attention of the Suppression Bureau, the weary detective. We are about to run out of our Savour's blood. We still have a little bit of time left on the Delightful Blood, so I'm going to want to keep the Dream slot open. We recruited Slee to be able to take care of the Long, and we've since at least started shirking as far as Glover and Glover are concerned in order to pursue our passion as a painter. Whether or not we're going to be able to make a full living of that is another question. We wound up with a subtle flaw from the woods, which wasn't necessarily all that important to me, and I'm not quite ready to use an Experienced Swindler. The Experienced Swindler is a very good early character in the sense that they've got a high level of Moth, and given the fact that I can prevent Starlight attacks from the Long with Moth, it's something that I might want to consider. It's something that I might find useful in certain circumstances, but it doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to spend money on someone to deal with an attack which I can't successfully identify yet. So I'm going to leave them in peace. Now, I am going to talk about the Anthic elaboration, however, so talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention. Perhaps that's what I want. The other thing I could do, now that I think of it, I'm actually going to move Sylvia up to a disciple because we can do that with our higher level lore. And I should do that with Slee as well. I just kind of want to see what Slee can do on his own. So promote a believer by invoking Grail. My follower will kneel as a novice and rise as an initiate. I will administer the necessary oaths myself. So Sylvia has detailed knowledge of roof ridges, of the river at low tide, of Irish whiskey, and of conjuring tricks. Now again, I'm not using the Dream slot because the Savour's blood is about to run out, and I would prefer not to have my disease come back. Alright, a menacing feint. Our enemy sends agents to threaten and dismay us. A heart or a Grail follower, the stronger the better, might be able to defend against this action. Regrettably, I do not have any Heart or Grail followers, so perhaps the choice to, the choice not to bring in more bodies wasn't a wise one. So we've got our Forlorn Blood. I have a disease. My blood is wrong. My bones are sick. I'll die. But perhaps I can preserve myself long enough with the holy blood of our delight. And here we use the Delightful Blood. I have received a little vial of our Delight's blood via courier. Our Delight's instructions are written herein, in the tiny tangles of cellular script. We can taste them, as they will taste us. If we waste it, our Delight will wax wroth. I consume the little vial of blood, lie back, close my eyes. Tomorrow will be strong. I will be stronger. Do have sickness. My illness has come for me. If I survive, I must taste the blood of our delight, and soon. If this illness cannot consume health or Savour's blood, it will kill you. And presages of pain, curses scrawled in black chalk, animals crucified in the garden, fires set in unwatched houses, the lesser moves of a secret war. So this is the first time that the Long has overtly come after us. In this case, so the previous actions the Long have taken, preparations ongoing. We added Slee. Our mortal enemy is preparing another action. The Long needs 3 preparations to launch another action. The shadowy presence, their power is formidable, their identity as yet unknown. Once the Long's might, connections, or Starlight reaches 3, it may be possible to unmask them. So right now they just have size of Starlight. Over time, the Long will learn the shape of our dreams, improving their ability to strike at us through the Mantis. If it ever reaches 10, the Long will consider attacking you directly. And I suppose Slee was not successful in identifying what the mission was. Actually, let me just double check that. It's found a way deeper into our dreams. I suppose that might have been a Starlight. Oh no, it was an intrigue, I suppose. Again, because of the split between episodes, I'm a little confused, but... Right, I finished early, here's my pay. Now, Normally I would have used this vitality. Actually, you know what? I think I still am. So we've got a lesson learned coming up here. I can combine these two vitality in the study. The drawback, of course, is that I'm not going to be able to use the vitality to deal with my sickness. But I'll be able to rest, get my health back a little bit faster, and I suppose one thing I can do, I'm sort of pulling myself up by my bootstraps doing this, but I'm going to paint, so you never know, this might be a living. So in this case, I'll take my contentment to make a mood piece. I'll take the contentment that I felt after making the last painting. I'm going to use that as fuel for my next work. I'm much recovered. More than that, I am sumptuous. The sclera of my eyes, the veins in my wrists are aswim with gorgeous serums. When the vitulation comes, I will be the centerpiece for our delight to prove their appetite to enact the grail. Now, of course, every time that we get every time we sort of take this supernatural means of healing, we also wind up with fascination, like leaks through the cracks. My mind is brighter than it ever was. The higher I rise, the more I see. And you can sort of see what's going on there. You know, we're experiencing these incredibly intense and unnatural experiences, and it's leading us to maybe lose our connection with reality. Fortunately, I do have a fleeting reminiscence, a moment in time, and another moment it will be gone, so I can use recollections of past events to try and bring myself back down to earth before things become too difficult. Exercise the body. I'm ready to grow stronger. Use this lesson learnt with your strength skill. And I will do that, but we'll do some more exercise first. I'm abrim with vitality. If I devote some time to exercise, I'll benefit. Now, one thing that I did fail to do, I said that I was going to rest and use my, I was going to get my health back a little bit earlier so that I could get the money for medicine. I wound up using the dream slot with the fascination. What I probably should have done was check to see whether or not a season of visions was coming up. But the other way of looking at this is, I suppose I had 40 seconds left on the fleeting reminiscence, so I would have had time to do both. But, you know, I've been distracted in the previous episode too. I missed out on the bids. So there's the possibility of doing things right, and then there's the possibility of doing things as a human. And I think Cultist Simulator in particular will draw that distinction quite often. This should have an impact. I could spend money on better paints, or perhaps I could find more exotic pigments. Alright, so crowded thoroughfares by day, a fog-rat labyrinth by night. I'll set my minions to searching for opportunities I might have found somewhere unusual. Now this is where what I've been looking for pretty much every time I've sent somebody out to explore, and this is Moorlands. Moorlands is the dim-lit premises of Miss Moorland, who deals in rare and sometimes dangerous books. Now, as it happens, my steady verb has been pretty good for sort of self-improvement. I've been working on myself, making myself particularly tasty for our delight, if you want to look at it that way. But at some point, you know, we go to work, we want to use our funds to try and advance our position a bit. And so at some point I'm going to wind up using Moorlands to buy some books. Now, given the fact that I'm going to potentially be buying medicine, the fact that I've got a few different activities that I might be trying to do, I'm going to hold off on Moorlands for now. It doesn't hurt to just sort of work with the world as it is right now, as opposed to the way that I would like it to be. But at some point I'm going to be going to Moorlands just so I can pick up some books and get more lore than the very high Grail lore. In pain we are born, in hunger we are embraced, in delight we are devoured. These are the gates of the body, and this is her promise. Not all that is born decays. In remembrance of that promise, we give ourselves to the feast. So Sylvia is now a disciple. Sylvia's favorite tactic is to smile and close her eye. It is remarkable how often her interlocutor will blurt out exactly what they are thinking. So now that she is a disciple, we've got a level 5 moth follower. Given the fact that the Long has been currently building up their strength in dreams, having moth followers is not that bad, given that that is the sort of the battlefield in which they're most effective. But we don't necessarily know. I mean, it's randomly determined, so it doesn't necessarily mean that the Long will prefer that method of attack. Looks like the experienced swindler really wants work. Can't afford them. artist reward. My recent work is considered significant. I may yet earn a living from this, but nothing is certain. So I still have the contentment. I've got 3 seconds, so it looks like this will get picked up. This is one of the things I wanted to try and do, which was to, paint and hold on to that memory. It turns out that we generated another contentment anyway, so I should be happy about that. But basically, I was trying to deal with the problem of having the Season of Despair and no ready contentment for it. I could, of course, do some of the other actions that will get me contentment, but in so doing, I would wind up spending money, which I can't afford until we wound up making 3 times as much as what we would have done working construction or at Glover & Glover. So today was a good day. And we still don't have any staleness, which is it's dangerous territory for me, because I'm just going to want to paint again. Let's see what's coming up. So it's still Season of Despair. I'm going to wait for a little bit on working. I think I'm okay waiting for the 10 seconds to... Oh no, I'm not, because then I'll lose my lesson learned. Alright, you know what? Well, no, because then I'll just be painting the same. Oh, here we go. I will do a painting of Rose. What is my... I'm just trying to look for my oldest Mystique. You never know, this might be a living. So Sylvia might come in handy here, so we'll do a portrait of Rose. And in from the night, our spy has returned to us. I shrink and grow pale, fatigue chokes my throat. I must ensure that my death serves a purpose. So we'll wait on the dream verb to be able to heal. Our immortal enemy is preparing their next action. Alright, and our spy has returned to us. So I'm going to upgrade Slee to a disciple, given that that's a fairly important role that I'm putting him in as the spy. Composure, the air is curdled now. I am home again in this lumpen flesh. Better, perhaps. So I suppose the question is, do I feel like I would be able... So with the affliction, I've got 166 seconds. I can work at the construction site. I say the construction site. I believe it just says physical labor. That's going to take me less than a minute. And painting, let's say another 40 seconds. So I'm well within the time it will take me to use my vitality. Let's see. I think the big challenge is going to come when I try to improve these. So I grow stronger still. Yeah, so that's going to take a minute. I think I can still get away with it. Colors of the night, I could spend money on better paints, or perhaps I could find more exotic pigments. And you know what? Oh no, I said I was going to take Slee up before I sent him in again. Honestly, I'm only going through the motions. The quality of my work will no doubt suffer. Competent work, there's nothing to be ashamed of. My recent work is considered significant. I may yet earn a living from this, but nothing is certain. Now, it looks like we only got 1 funds from that, so it's... Personally, I consider that a loss, given that we... it's the opportunity cost, right? We could have worked at another job and have actually earned something, but we didn't. We spent our time on painting, and we really only got the cost of the materials back. Still, we don't have staleness. Now, it may just... I don't think it silently hits you with staleness. I think it will tell you when things are going down. Now, I mean, in terms of an average value, we're still ahead in terms of painting, but the question now is, do I want to wait 24 seconds to go to work? And I really don't. We've got 100, so I've got 2 minutes basically to deal with the affliction. So we'll pick up heavy things and put them down again at unskilled labor. Backbreaking work for meager pay. Is this the best that I can do? And I do want to use the vitality, so I will leave dream open. But let's see if there's something more productive I can do with it. The next step with study will be to combine the glimmering, and my hope will be to get an additional level of passion. That'll be particularly helpful for painting because I'll be able to employ more resources towards the production of paintings. Season of Visions is coming up, so I want to be careful about where I go and what books that I read. And exploration-wise, I don't really think I'm ready yet to start going on expeditions, so we'll continue to use my pawn to search the streets and see if we can find anyone or anything interesting. The Wolf Despair prowls elsewhere. No dread empowers this despair. It's over for now. The machine, my body, ripples with power. So we now have a hardened physique. You may not know it to look at me, but I've grown as strong as a smith or a soldier. Use this with 3 lessons learnt to gain more health. So this will make our work at the for physical labor even shorter. But of course, that comes with the assumption that I can employ it. I spent so much time on leg day that I couldn't use it at the work site. So again, we're going to preserve that glimmering by turning it into a lesson learned. My hope is that I'll be able to use my vivid imagination to paint a couple more works before we run out of before it expires, and then be able to turn it into something more. All right, still finding Street Strange by Moonlight. I just read that, so I don't see any reason to carry on. But again, the aim right now is going to be to just try and improve my abilities, make myself a little more financially secure. Found someone who I might pay. Okay, the Shifty Woman, the lower grade moth follower. Really, at this point, I'm really trying to focus on getting these traits up at a time when maybe buying a book isn't always financially viable. So I've got another hanger on. I'm not going to put too much effort into recruiting them right away. I'll still recruit them, but Slee is clearly the higher priority now. So again, Slee speaks earnestly about his theories to all who will listen, the stars as tiny wounds, and the sun as a hemorrhage of glory. His poetry is more eccentric than ever. So we'll take the Order of the Bloody Cup. We'll add Slee, and the Anthic elaboration will certainly take him to the higher level that we need. So my follower will kneel as a novice and rise as an initiate. I will administer the necessary oaths myself. And given the fact that I am looking for sort of a range of abilities that people can use to try and foil the Long's plans, I'm pretty much, unless I'm putting someone who has a direct use in terms of abilities that I need, I'm pretty much going to do everything I can to push people, or to push bodies into my cult. All right, a peculiar rumor. I always like these ones, so this might lead me to someone I need, or it might mean something else entirely. Explore with a rumor to follow up on it. So, while I was returning to the depths, one appeared in front of my eyes whose mouth was sealed. When I saw them in the great emptiness, I cried out. I think that last night I met another soul in the wood. I will never recall exactly what we said, one to another, but I think that we will recognize each other in the waking world. Again, just this idea of seeing someone in a dream, and then on the street you notice each other and recognize each other. It's just one of those little moments that I think visually it's really appealing to me, but of course in the context of the game and what it means is it's something that really works for me. Again, it's all about what happens in your mind while you play the game, as opposed to just directly showing you, or you get to. The thing that I think really sells me on this game is the fact that yes, I get to move the cards around, but it's not that the writer of the game gets to have all the fun. They also let me have the fun in terms of filling in the blanks and figuring out what's going on. And it's why I think this game maybe has the, if you look at a game like this, you'd maybe be surprised to see how successful it was relative to what people's expectations of independent games are. But when you start thinking about those factors, I think it sort of really, really indicates why this game spoke to people in a way that maybe some others didn't. All right, all I need now is time, of course. This is why we went to the work site, to get some vitality to heal up. And the question is, how do I want to spend my work time? I could try another painting. Well, I can paint a fleeting reminiscence, I suppose. So let's take... One of the reasons why I want to do this, by the way, is to be able to generate some glimmering. So in this case, it's not just the money that I make from painting, but it's also the chance that I'll wind up producing something something helpful. Now, I would have liked to have used the peculiar rumor to get that second notoriety. Notoriety is worth a bit more as far as sort of the reputation that you can turn into money, but I don't want to wait 42 seconds without making some kind of an income. So we'll use the fleeting reminiscence as an inspiration, and we'll do our best. Let's try and push this. Actually, you know what? I've been rather bad at ending these things on time. I've noticed that the end time starts creeping up a little bit. So in the next episode, I'm going to try and give about 15 seconds for the end title card. I think in the next episode, I'm going to try and employ Slee a little bit more effectively against the Long. We'll try and get some more bodies inside of the cult, and then we'll try and maybe work out exactly how I'm going to make my money and get some extra books, because I don't want this to be treading water for the next couple of episodes. As always, if you have any thoughts about the game, feel free to leave them in the comments, and if you've already done that or you don't want to speak up, I'll see you all next week.